What is good, YouTube, man? How is everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. It is Thursday, you guys, getting closer and closer to our week 3 matchup. So that's what we're going to talk about, man. Going to Tennessee. No more talking and reflecting about what's in the past because that's behind us. We're going to look at the present. We're going to look at what we got right now, and we're going to see what the Las Vegas are working with, what the Las Vegas Raiders are working with, and how it is going to impact us. But you guys already know the drill, man. Shout out to everybody who's already in the building. Drop your comments, and let's get into the shout outs of the beginning portion of the show. Shout out to my guy Sean, Terry, Swin, Paul, Bourbon, the Raider Critique, JD. We got Raider 88 SVT, my guy. For those of you guys who would love to become a member, there's your opportunity. It is now in the chat for those of you guys. You get emojis and all different perks of the channel. Shout out to Terry, Jamal, DeMarcus, Victor. What's up? Everybody already in the building. We got almost 50 of you guys already in here. So shout out to you guys. But listen, man. We also got Buddha, Ben Bad, Herman, all my guys in here. But check this out, you guys. Bro, you fish? No, I really like the hat. I also really like the store. But I like the other shit that they do there, like camping, outdoor shit, all that kind of stuff. It's just a great store. It's like fucking Disneyland. Like fucking Disneyland. But let's get into it. So yesterday, shout out to my mom. It was her birthday, so happy birthday to my mom. Again, we celebrated that with her yesterday, so that's why I wasn't on here. But let's get into what the Las Vegas Raiders did yesterday, and that was bringing in a little bit of offensive line help, a little bit of depth, maybe, or some starting roles, right? Maybe we could see somebody increase production, right? So that man goes by the name of Justin Herron. The man himself played 10 games with the Patriots between 2020 and 2021. So, with that being said, in 2021, he played about a quarter of the season, playing 393 snaps, and had a 56.7 PFF grade, only allowing 2 penalties and giving up 1 sack. So that was in 2021. Now in 2020, Justin Herron also played about a quarter of the season with the Patriots. In that year, he recorded a 63 overall PFF grade with 352 snaps played, no penalties, but he did allow 5 sacks. So this leads me to think, is Jermaine Illuminor's hip injury a little bit worse than what we expected? Now, for those of you guys who do not know, Illuminor was in and out of last week's matchup against the Arizona Cardinals, dealing with the hip injury. Originally, it started off in the second half, I believe in the third quarter. That's when everything really started to go into place for Thayer Munford. So he got a lot more reps last week. This leads me to think, you bring in a guy that's extremely familiar with the offense, who still has 2 years left on his rookie contract, who's pretty cheap because he was a 6th-round pick, and on top of that, he's been developing on a good slope, right? His 5 sacks allowed turned into 2 sacks allowed, or only 1 sack allowed in more snaps. So if he is to play, I think that this could be a guy that with Thayer Munford, with Jermaine Illuminor, with now Justin Herron, we could see that rotation somewhat come to an end, right? We could see Dylan Parham go and start on that right side. We could see Jermaine Illuminor bump into guard depending on what's going on with the right side, right? It could be that Jermaine Illuminor's hip injury is a little bit worse than what we expected, but ultimately, who knows? And shout out to everybody in here. We're going to talk about that, Bill. And shout out to everybody in here giving my mother a birthday shout out, man. Love y'all. And yes. So, Justin Herron, I think it was a decent move. You only give up a 6th-round pick. You would get a 7th and a player in return at a position of need. I think is very, very important. So, sticking with the offensive line, some would say we got an upgrade, or some would say we got help today with Mr. Drumroll, please. Andre James clears concussion protocols, ends up going back to practice today, but on a limited fashion. He was wearing the red jersey, the non-contact jersey. So he did clear protocols. It will be interesting to see how he is listed for tomorrow. Because tomorrow is very, very important since we will be traveling this week. So Andre James comes back. Personally, I really, really like how Dylan Parham performed at center. But ultimately, I just think that Dylan Parham needs to carve out a role at the guard spot, because I think that at the moment we have a bigger need at guard than we do at center. So that's how I feel. Dylan Parham played phenomenal at center. Obviously, there are things to work on. Is Dylan Parham at the moment a better center than Andre James in the first 2 games of the season? Hard to tell, right? But he had a very good performance against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, needless to say, Andre James did go up against better competition on the interior, but Andre James returning to practice is a big, big plus. Now, on top of that, we have not seen a return from Denzel Perryman, Trayvon Merrick. Those 2 guys are still looking like on track for a possible return this week. It's looking like if anyone does return, it will be Denzel Perryman. But as of right now, these guys are still up in the air. In other news, thankfully, we do not have a big hit at defensive tackle as Bilal Nichols returns to practice today after dealing with a shoulder injury. So very, very, very happy about that. That is amazing news that Bilal Nichols was able to return to practice on such short notice. And also, the talk of the town today is the Las Vegas Raiders have decided to bring in, or will be bringing in, Blake Martinez, linebacker, standout linebacker from the New York Giants, in for a visit tomorrow. So the visit is expected to happen tomorrow for Blake Martinez. So those of you guys who are looking at it, that's what's going on. And I think that this makes a bunch of sense. Like, I really, really think this move would make a ton of sense, right? Because essentially what you're allowing is you're allowing Denzel Perryman to take his time. You don't rush Denzel Perryman into a role immediately where he does not need to be in if you have a guy like Blake Martinez, because guess what? Denzel Perryman is a true thumper. Blake Martinez is a tackling machine as well. He may not be on the level of Denzel Perryman, but guess what? Blake Martinez wouldn't have any time, like any drop-off time, because he's had his best years in the league under Patrick Graham's defense. So let me just show you guys really quick before we extend conversations about Blake Martinez. This is the injury report, and shout out to Sean for sending me this. He's always showing love to the channel and giving us good gems to talk about. So shout out to Sean. Here is the injury report for both the Las Vegas Raiders and the Tennessee Titans for week 3. I'm not sure if you guys can read it, but Brandon Bolden, hamstring injury, was limited yesterday, limited today, but that's good news. Jermaine Illuminor, hip injury, was limited yesterday, full participant today. Andre James was concussion yesterday, did not participate, was limited today, as we said, with that non-contact red jersey on. Trayvon Merrick, hip injury, did not participate yesterday, did not participate today. Chandler Jones, he's only on here for, you have to put these guys on why they're not participating in practice. This is just a veteran rest day. Chandler Jones is okay, you guys. Bilal Nichols, as we just spoke about, shoulder injury, didn't participate in yesterday's practice, but came back in limited fashion today. Denzel Perryman, ankle injury, hasn't participated the last 2 days. Hunter Renfrow with a concussion also hasn't participated the last 2 days. Jacob Johnson wasn't listed yesterday, but was listed today with a hamstring injury and was limited today at practice. Now, Josh Jacobs, for a lot of guys, we were thinking, why the hell is he on the injury list? Thank God it's not really an injury. I hope that he does get over whatever this illness is, because we don't want to see him hurt. But yes, looks like Josh Jacobs is dealing with maybe a little bit of the sniffles, so that's why he wasn't at practice. Now, the Tennessee Titans kind of have an extended injury list just like we do. So they have a couple guys, big name guys, that probably won't play. We have Ugo Amadi, ankle injury, hasn't participated the last 2 days. Big time pass rusher Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree, man, in my opinion, he's a guy that he can really wreck games. He does a good job at stripping the football when he gets the quarterback on the ground. But Dupree did not participate the last 2 days. Jamarco Jones hasn't participated, and they end up putting him on IR today. Taylor Lewan, their starting left tackle, seems to have gone out with a knee injury and has not participated in the last 2 days. Now, Ola Adenalele didn't participate today, was limited yesterday. Danico Autry, somebody that, as Raider fans, we are pretty familiar with. He was just on rest day and he fully participated today. Treylon Burks, limited yesterday but participated fully today. Christian Fulton, their young corner that they drafted 2 years ago, limited. Kyle Phillips is limited. Joe Jones is limited. Zach Cunningham, their starting linebacker, is limited, on top of Dontrell Hillard. All limited for the Vikings, for the Titans in tomorrow's, or not in tomorrow's, but in this week's matchup coming this weekend. So, interesting stuff, man. A lot of stuff, a lot of to unpack, a lot of to take in and really understand, right? So obviously Hunter Renfrow, he probably won't be available. Andre James didn't play because of his concussion. He didn't clear concussion protocols. So it seems like Hunter Renfrow probably won't be available for this week's matchup against the Titans. Not too worried about that, if I'm going to be honest with you. I think that, we got guys that can kind of plug in. Maybe for those of you guys who've been asking, Tyron Johnson could maybe see more of the field in terms of a deep threat this week if Hunter Renfrow isn't able to go. Of course, Denzel Perryman being out means that we will have to travel with our two UDFAs once again, with Luke Masterson and Darian Butler. So that's interesting to see. But also, who knows? Maybe tomorrow Blake Martinez gets a deal done with the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, here's my thoughts on Blake Martinez. It's nothing crazy. I would actually really, really like the Raiders to pick him up, just because I am a big fan and I think it's the smartest option to go out, get Blake Martinez, and give Denzel Perryman the true amount of time that he needs. Don't rush Denzel Perryman's ankle injury. Don't put him out there if he does not need to be. If he is not fully healthy, do not rush Denzel Perryman out there. To me, it is simply not smart. It is not smart to rush one of your star players out on the field, especially if you can get a guy of Blake Martinez caliber to just fill in the gap for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. I think that Blake Martinez would be a massive help. He's plug and play. He knows the system in and out. He's played many, many years with Patrick Graham. He had a few years where he had 1 year where he had a few interceptions on top of 100 tackles. So Blake Martinez has had major success in this system for Patrick Graham. So the Las Vegas Raiders will be hosting a visit for linebacker Blake Martinez tomorrow. So by tomorrow, we should know if he leaves the building with or without a deal. And if he signs with the Las Vegas Raiders, well, here you are. I would love the signing. That's what I think about Blake Martinez. If he comes in, phenomenal job by the Las Vegas Raiders, because I really do not want us to go and rush out guys like Denzel Perryman. Same with Hunter Renfro, but thankfully we don't really need to sign anybody because our receiving room is pretty stacked in my eyes. So yeah, we wouldn't need to rush Hunter Renfro back. Now Trayvon Merrick, hopefully we could see him out there sooner rather than later because I just think that Merrick is a good football player and I would like to see that. And we don't really have as much depth as the safety position as we do with other spots on the team. So it will be interesting to see how the Las Vegas Raiders run this and play this out. But important matchup this week, you guys. You've got to win a game like this where you're 0-2 off of two losses that you should have won. You got to be able to bounce back and against the odds, show that this team hasn't already, you know, began to hang their heads and all that kind of stuff. Really go handle business. And I think that we need to have a performance where we really, really dominate. That's what I think will get this team back in the groove. And fortunately for us, we have three very, very suitable games ahead of us that could get guys in momentum, that can get guys into a groove where we really, really, really want to, go out and get that, what is it? That itch to win games and want to win, that addiction to winning and victory. That's what I think needs to happen in these next few games. Obviously, I don't want to look past any of our opponents, but going against the Tennessee Titans, they have underperformed. So have we. But I feel like us, although we have taken two losses, we really shot ourselves in the foot both games. When the Titans can't say the same, they kind of just simply got outplayed. I think that in the Chargers game, we could have done a lot of things better. We got outcoached. But yeah, man, I don't want to make excuses. But going towards the Vikings in Tennessee, this needs to be a win. It's a must-win game in my eyes, man. Let's see. Stay hydrated, my boys. Andy Q tell dogs to unblock me. Look, man, if he wants to unblock you, Jaded, that man got to do it. I can't tell him to do nothing. Would you sign Sue? I would absolutely sign Sue. I just think that Sue isn't in any rush to to leave and go sign somewhere. I don't think that he really is in any rush to try and go play some football right now. Raider Moses, what's up, homie? Let's go, Raiders. Facts, man. Let's go. I think we would have signed Sue if he wasn't asking for so much money. I don't think so. I think that Sue has seen the market. He's seen what he's being offered, and it may not be attractive to him because he may not be getting the number he wants. So what he may do is what other good players that may not have as much in the tank have done before, and that's simply wait until a playoff team gets injury at their position and he goes out and signs for them later on in the season to where he's a lot more healthy, a lot more rested, and can really play at 100% for the back end of the season. I think that that's what Sue's plan is if he does sign somewhere. But at this point, we clearly could have used the help the last two games, and he's not on the field, or he's not with the Raiders, so I don't think that that's happening. Same with Darrell Williams. As much as we would love Darrell Williams, that's not happening. It would have been happened. He would have signed somewhere else. The man hasn't even taken a visit to any other team since he's been released by the Buffalo Bills. So there has to be underlying issues with both, or maybe not issues, but just things that maybe they just want a rest from football at the moment. So yeah. Sue shouldn't demand $9 million now. Yeah, he shouldn't demand that, but he can always do it. I believe Dominican Sue is his own agent. Keelan Cole was re-signed. Yeah, Keelan Cole was re-signed to the 53-man roster, I believe, last week or the week before. Last week. Last week. Yeah, that is facts, though. My fault, you guys. My fault, my fault, my fault. I apologize. I apologize. Let's get the DT from the Redskins. They've got some solid defensive tackles. Yeah, I've been saying that for some years now, Buddha. I felt like in 2020 we should have went out and try and trade for Matt Ioannidis, and then or no 2021 I felt like we should have traded for Matt Ioannidis from the Redskin or the Washington football team, and then this offseason when he was a free agent I felt like it was a no-brainer, and he ended up signing to the Carolina Panthers, but then they had another guy by the name of Tim Settle that ended up signing to the to the Buffalo Bills, and I felt like that was another missed opportunity. And to think that they've lost two starting caliber defensive tackles but yet still have Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen, speaks volumes to how they're able to develop those defensive linemen on the interior. So I would love to have a conversation or have Ziegler give them a call and see what's their price on one of those guys, because it would help immensely for us to get a defensive tackle of that caliber, right? Daron Payne is a great up and coming player. I believe he's only 25 years old. And then you have Jonathan Allen, who's around 28, 29, who is in an insane run stopping guy who can also put pressure on the quarterback up the middle. They both are very good at what they do. But I definitely feel like much like we say that Penn State is a factory for linebackers in college, it seems like these last few years Washington has produced a good amount of interior defensive linemen. So I would have loved for us to have those conversations. I was kind of begging for it last offseason. Didn't happen, but yeah. Would you give up a second round pick for Daron Payne? No, but I would give up a third round pick for Daron Payne. A second round pick is too expensive because he's on a contract year. So you're giving up a second round pick, then paying him. Doesn't make too much sense, but I would definitely give up a third round pick in a heartbeat. You don't even have to ask me that twice. I still don't know why we have Renfro returning punts, shaking my head. I agree, my guy. Like, SVT, we always see eye to eye on a lot of things, bro, and we've clearly seen eye to eye on this for a long time. To me, it makes absolutely no sense that you have a Pro Bowl slot receiver, a 1,000-yard receiver back there returning punts. Now, I'm not sure if Hunter Renfrow likes it, but I simply don't know anybody, unless they have a loose screw, that likes having 11 280 plus pound men, or no, 11 240 plus pound men sprinting full speed at them, 100 yards of just full force getting hit once he gets tackled. I don't know anybody who likes that. I doubt that Hunter Renfrow likes it, and I doubt that he's asked to be on punts. So I just don't understand um, why that's still being done. We have so many other options that could do it. So it just, to me, it doesn't make much sense. You brought in Amir Abdullah, who I felt could do that at a very, very high level. You still have, guys like, what's his name? Tyron Johnson, T. Billy, who could do it. Yeah, so many guys, so many guys. But yeah, I don't understand. What's good, Andy? Let's get Blake Martinez tomorrow. I agree. I think that does a good job for the organization, allowing us to ease Denzel Perryman back into the lineup instead of maybe having to force him back in. On top of that, Blake Martinez is a player that's had much success with Patrick Graham's defense and has had multiple back-to-back years with over 100 tackles. I think that Blake Martinez, if Denzel Perryman needs to be out this week and the next week, I think that it makes absolutely tons of sense. Now, I think that if he's not going to be out until next week, then there's no point. If Denzel Perryman only misses one more game, then to me it doesn't make point to me it doesn't really make a big point to sign Blake Martinez, because then that means that you have to either cut Darian Butler or Luke Masterson to make a roster spot, unless they want to cut somebody else from another positional group, but I just don't think it makes much sense at that point if you have to cut a young talent from your team. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. Um, but yeah, that's what I think. But I would love Blake Martinez if Denzel Perryman's going to be sidelined for at least 2 weeks. I think that makes perfect sense. Why are we not letting Kuntz loose? I 100% agree. I think that Patrick Graham has done a good job as the defensive coordinator so far with the Raiders, but I think there is room for improvement, and I think that rotating the defensive lineman is part of it. I think that getting Kuntz in there, Tashawn Bowers in there is really, 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 really big in my eyes because Kuntz is a guy who's shown so much. He's shown so much, especially in the preseason. So has Tashawn Bowers, and I think that Kuntz is a guy that if you put him out situationally, this is a guy that can produce some pretty damn decent numbers and offer fresh legs to a veteran like Chandler Jones. So I think it's a no-brainer in my eyes to get Kuntz out there more often. Obviously, I'm not getting paid to be a defensive coordinator, but that's what I think. I also feel like on offense, play calling needs to be a little bit more consistent at times because I don't understand giving Josh Jacobs 10 carries in the Chargers game and he has 60 or almost 57 yards in the Chargers game. And then you give Josh Jacobs the ball 10 times in the first half where he has 58 yards in just the first half, which is more than what he had the week before in the full game, and then you stop feeding them. So I feel like in this league, you kind of go with what's working at the time. And at the time, Josh Jacobs has been the guy to take over, and we just haven't fed Josh. I think that we need to do that better. I definitely think that we need to do that better. But yeah, I agree. Kuntz, Bowers, I think these guys definitely need some more PT, 110%, because rotation is going to be very, very big, especially going down the season. In my opinion, Merrick being out is a bigger problem for us than Perryman being out. I can actually kind of see that, right? Because the depth isn't as heavy as it is at the linebacker room, like it is at the safety spot. It's not as big. But in my eyes, also, Duron Harmon played a great game. Duron Harmon made a play that should have sealed the game, should have won us the game, right? All we need to do is get in Daniel Carlson field goal range and we win the game. So Duron Harmon literally could have went out there and made the biggest play at that point. So I think that I would agree to a certain extent, but also going up against Tennessee, they're not really going to air the ball out too much. So I think that Perryman out being a thumper is going to be a big impact, though. So that's that. Shout out to my guy Curtis, man. He said, "Was good, Andy. I don't know why we not letting T Billy turn up. This may be his week, right? T Billy can work out of the slot. He has done it before. He has made tons of big plays out of the slot when he was with the Chargers. And it looks like this week we may be without slot receiver Hunter Renfrow. So T Billy may be getting his chance. And sometimes that's all you need. You just need that opportunity. You make the best of it. And there you go. Marzell says D Ford is still available. I feel like we would take a flyer on him to help give Chandler and Max some rest. Nah, man. I think you have what you need, or what you need. Wait, yeah, you have what you need on this roster already. I don't think that we need to go get D Ford. I don't think that we should go get D Ford because I just don't want us to let go of any valuable young players to make a spot for a rental. I think that Malcolm Kuntz is a very, very good option. I think that Tashawn Bowers as a rotational guy is a good option as well. So who knows, man? We definitely need to control the time of possession and not allow Henry to get going. Yeah, if you allow Henry to get going, it's going to be really, really hard to get this guy off of his high horse, man. So who knows, man? But listen, you guys, quick show today. Only half an hour because I do want to set up tomorrow. I'm going to try either tomorrow or Saturday. I want to get out a updated Rock Yasin film study for you guys because I really felt like he was a top performer. And that film study will be featuring our brother, Wasted Talent. So we will get that done for you guys here either tomorrow or the following day. So like I said, quick live for you guys. I'm honest. I'm honestly fucking toasted right now. Um I've been working all fucking day since 5 in the morning. So I am fucking beat. I'm gonna fucking rest. But I appreciate you guys for coming on here with me. Talking, having fun, talking Raiders football. And tomorrow I will be back, same place, be here. And if you haven't already, on your way out, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And as always, I love y'all. Stay safe. Have a wonderful day. And I'm out, you guys. Peace.
Welcome to the Death Star.